Shut up and sit down.
Hello, Phantoms fans. Welcome to the Dump and Chase podcast. I'm Sam Olmstead.
And I'm Justin Irwin.
Let's do it.
Episode 9 of the Dump and Chase podcast. This is Sam, and we have a little different setup for recording this episode. Usually we record in our homes, but today Justin is in a swanky hotel room in Virginia. He's there doing job training for his work, and by swanky, I mean swanky. Caviar for breakfast, seaweed wraps, and those little pools where the tiny fish eat dead skin off your feet. I mean, that's all accurate, right?
Yeah, but to be honest, I'm not a caviar person, so I'm not doing that for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. I just can't do fish egg.
But the little fish eating the dead skin off your feet, that's all true.
Oh, yeah. Not just my feet. Wink, wink.
All right, we're stopping that right there. Okay. So, I don't know how I come back from that one. So this past weekend, the Youngstown Phantoms took on the Muskegon Lumberjacks in 2 games, and I think as much of a shock as the way the last few seasons have gone for the Phantoms as far as the start to the season, as much of a shock as it's been how good the start to the season's been, the flip side of that is how bad Muskegon has been to start this season.
Yeah, they would say have some goaltending issues to start. Last year, they got some surprise net minding out of Bussy, but this year, it's just not up to the league, so they're 0-4.
So we have the game Friday night. Phantoms win 4-2, and if there's anything more exciting than seeing a player score his first USHL goal, it's getting to see 3 players score their first USHL goal all in one game. So, I mean, that was a pretty incredible thing to see.
Yeah. All 3 of the goal scorers who scored 4 goals, Riley Funk being the guy who scored 2. Our young players are going to probably put up a lot of goals as the season goes on.
Yeah, that's as much as we talked about the returning players, the contributions that they were going to be making. Really, I think the story this year has been the younger guys, how much they have contributed already so earlier in their USHL careers.
Yeah, it's real promising for the Phantoms if you can get goals out of young guys, especially this early in the season.
So then we moved to Saturday night. Game was a little bit closer than we had on Friday. Phantoms took that one 3-2. Yeah, it was just so strange that, you have Muskegon coming into town and it's just not the Muskegon you're used to seeing.
Yeah, and as close as the score was, you have a feeling that the Phantoms could have put up a few more goals, but...
Well, I think that was the one saving grace for the Lumberjacks. Jack Williams, who came in halfway through the game on Friday, kind of, slowed down the bleeding a little bit. Not enough for Muskegon to come back. Didn't play that bad of a game on Saturday. The Phantoms were still able to get a few past them. But no, like I had said, just the way the season has started. Last season, the Phantoms started 0-4-1 in their first 5 games, which is what, the sample size as far as how far along this season is we have to work with. Right now, the Phantoms sit at 3-1-1. I tweeted out earlier in the week, this is actually their best start to the season since 2012-2013, when they started out 4-1. And actually, that was the third of 3 seasons where the Phantoms started out 4-1 to start the season. I mean, it's something definitely welcome to see based on the way the past few seasons have gone, the way that they've started out, and just seemingly, I mean, the Phantoms have made the playoffs the last 3 years, but it always seems like the first half of the season is this race to get back to 500. So it's kind of nice to see it the other way for the first time in a few years.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. It is, even when you go back to those years, this is still a pretty impressive start, the way this team is built. It actually does look kind of a lot like the 2012-2013 team, with a lot of younger guys, maybe not the big players, but a lot of energy, a lot of scoring. And I know you did the deep dive in the stats to individual players back then, so you can kind of see where I'm going with this.
Yeah, went through, and you want to talk about tedious work. I mean, as much as you can say about the USHL, thankfully they keep the records of box scores of years past that you can go back and look. So at least I had that to work off of. But yeah, very tedious work to kind of go back and look at the first 5 games of all these seasons. But yeah, definitely talking about the start of the season, especially Riley Funk, 8 points in 5 games, which in Phantoms history is the most to start the first 5 games since Kyle Connor in 2013-2014. But even if you go back a couple years before that, you had another player, Austin Cangialosi, who is somebody, I've heard a lot of the names. I came into this, 4 years ago. You've heard of the Kyle Connors, the Sam Annises, the Nathan Walkers. Austin's name was a name I never heard until I looked this up. But I mean, just looking back then, it seems like it was just like these powerhouse teams offensively that the Phantoms had in those years.
Yeah. Cangialosi was a dynamic player, smaller guy, kind of like Sam Annis or maybe Yusako Ando. Just a lot of speed, a lot of talent. Yeah, he came in as a younger player, definitely put up some goals, did get a little bit overshadowed in the later playoff run from that 12-13 season, but he was definitely a big part of the puzzle in the Phantom's success in their early history.
Now, last season for the Phantoms, especially the later part of the season, a lot of the focus was on the 3M line, Jack Malone, Connor McEachran, and Brett Murray. This year, it seems like we kind of have that line again. Unfortunately, their initials don't really spell out anything, well, anything PG at least. But yeah, this year, the line of Riley Funk, Yusaku Ando, and Trevor Kuntar really seems like they've picked it up where the 3M line left off.
Yeah, there's just a huge amount of chemistry on that line. And considering Ando and Funk are rookies, that's pretty special.
And then another player I want to mention, Arseny Smeknov, through, I don't have the exact number, 40-something games last season, only had 3 points. Through 5 games this season, already has 4. He looks like a completely different player this season.
Last year, I had people come up to me going, who's this guy, Smeknov? Is he new? And it's like, no, he's probably played 30 games. But he was mostly invisible out there, it seemed. So yeah, definitely a major turnaround. I don't know what kind of training he did in the off season, but they need to get the whole team on that program.
And then another player to bring up is the goaltender Colin Purcell. Now, Dominic Bassi had a very rough start to the season that first game. Definitely brought his game up a lot more in the game on Friday. Colin Purcell, just par for the course for what he's done so far for the Phantoms. And I tweeted this out as well. Through, his first 2 starts, a rookie goaltender in the USHL for the Phantoms, having the best start to a season for the Phantoms since our old favorite, Ivan Kolbakov.
Yeah, he's draft eligible, already showing up on the NHL Central Scouting Report. So, yeah, he's got a lot of eyes on him now, so it will be interesting really to see how this goaltending tandem plays out. Maybe Purcell can make his case for being the number 1 goalie. And before anybody asks, no, Dominic Bassi won't be showing up on the Central Scouting Report since he's already been drafted. I will get at least one person who asks me that and throw that out there now.
This is the part in the video where we need that little star going across, the more you know.
Yeah, if you want to leave that in, I really wish I had some time to do some graphics for this, but I don't have anything set up here in Virginia to do that.
Oh, maybe like a little stick figure in Microsoft Paint or something.
I don't even know if I could swing that.
So going into this upcoming weekend, if you can call it the weekend, it's Sunday and Monday. I don't know why. Thursday night, there was a concert at the Cavelli Center, so I could maybe see there not being a game Friday, but Sunday, Monday, I have no clue. But Sunday and Monday, the Chicago Steel come to town, and they will be bringing a couple players with them who have been a little rough on the Phantoms, especially last season. One of which, due to his name, we have to hear howling sounds more often than we'd like, but...
Yes. Gunnar Wolf Fontaine, my favorite name in the whole league. That's sarcasm.
Yeah.
And him and Matteo D. St. Fail, I don't know how you pronounce his name, really. They've tortured us last season, so...
Although, luckily, it seems more in Chicago than they've done it in Youngstown. The numbers they put up, the bulk of those numbers were put up when games played in Chicago. You would think stuff like that wouldn't matter, but for some reason in sports, home and away, those kind of stat splits, for some reason, it exists for some people.
Yeah. Sometimes some arenas just are more favorable, and sometimes they're a jinx.
Now, the fun part after this weekend, well, I guess I should mention real quick, the game on Sunday, because the Phantoms are going to be on the road for so long, the game Sunday will be their basically their Halloween night, trick-or-treating in the concourse for the kids and all that kind of stuff. And then Monday night is Alzheimer's Awareness Night, which, proceeds of ticket sales go to the Alzheimer's Association, all that kind of stuff. They're asking fans to wear purple to show your support. Real easy to do for a Phantom fan. It's not hard to find something purple as opposed to other walks of life. But if you're a Phantoms fan, you have something purple to wear. So if you're coming to the game on Monday, make sure you wear that.
Yeah. Mine might be covered up with a jersey, but yeah, I've got a purple shirt picked out. I lost an aunt to Alzheimer's, which is a horrible disease. I can't stress how hard this is on families.
Oh, absolutely. So yeah, the scheduling is kind of weird. We definitely want to see as many people there as possible. It's weird timing, but we're gonna do what we're gonna do. The fun part after that is that with the scheduling this season, the Phantoms will play at the Cavelli Center on Monday. They will not be back to the Cavelli Center until November 16th. There is essentially a 7-game road trip over the course of a month. Yeah, a lot of searching online for like the other team's radio feeds to be able to try to listen to the game unless you have hockey TV.
Yeah, it's just one of those things with USHL scheduling. Sometimes you get that. Unfortunately, this isn't the only time this season that we get bit by this. But I guess then you get, extended homestands to make up for it. So it is what it is, and you have to deal with it in this league.
So getting into wrapping up this episode, it's going to be another quick one. Justin's pretty fried this week. Still been able to keep up with everything, so good job there. But we'll try to keep this short this week as well.
You've been a pretty big help keeping me caught up and keeping me in the game here. I don't think I could have done it this week without the help.
I'm gonna feel so bad when we actually tell people that we script all these things out. So we make it seem all heartfelt and that we liked each other. This is all scripted.
Oh yeah, yeah. And it's sad that we scripted out, and this is really the best that we can do. But
yeah, I'm not winning an Emmy for this anytime soon. But yeah, the one thing I wanted to bring up, we just found out today, which is Thursday. What we already kind of known, what we have been told last weekend, Ben Schoen is now on injured reserve due to a hit he took in the game Friday night.
Yeah. We got word of this last Saturday. Been kind of sitting on it, waiting for the official word. But yeah, it's an upper body injury. Please don't ask for specifics if, you weren't in on the conversation in this league. That's a little bit touchy, especially we're dealing with an underage player here still. So it looks like it's going to be long term. We were told 12 weeks.
Yeah, possibly upwards of 3 months.
So that puts it into early January. Schoen was also one of the players on the early NHL scouting report. So really hideous timing.
So that's about it for this week. But yeah, we got the games on Sunday and Monday. The start times, the game on Sunday begins at 5:05. The game on Monday begins at 6:05. So a little bit of goofy times. But again, we hope to see as many people there as possible. As always, check us out on social media. Comment below on the video. But yeah, all the social media links are in the description below. To get a hold of us, complaints, threats, whatever you feel we have coming our way. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel as well. Now, I'll bring up this one last point. I already know the answer to this question, but how's the food down there?
Oh My God, it is unreal. I have not eaten the same nationality food twice in this week. We've gone from, Irish to Thai to Mexican to Vietnamese, some Indian. It's all good.
All right. Well, on that note, thank you everybody for listening in. Hopefully we see you at the games this weekend, and we will talk to you again next week. See you later.
So long, suckers. Maybe I should end that differently.